What's up, you guys? C.A.S.T back with another video. Today, we're going to be starting a new series called Squad Up. Now, just a little preface, I am an anime watcher. It's in the title. You can see that in the introduction. That's one of the things we focus on this channel. And in all honesty, I'm really interested in comparing and contrasting different TV shows, characters, this, that, and the other. And then kind of developing tier lists as far as what are my favorite shows, my favorite characters, favorite story arcs, this, that, and the other, for any different genre. Now, the hard part I personally find is that after you watch a certain number of shows, you honestly just start forgetting about things you might have watched earlier. So, you might come up with a let's say top 10 list of, I don't know, best character developments or best main characters or whatever for a certain genre. And then you come up with your, 8, and then you realize, oh my god, I forgot about this one show I watched 2 years ago. And now you gotta redo the whole list. And then by the end, you're not really satisfied. You're okay with, maybe the first 2 and 3. But 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, it's kind of tough because you feel like some of the characters got shafted, or you have to add honorable mentions because you really like these characters too, but they just don't fit into the list. And it's well, I would like to make it so there's not really a how do I say it? Kind of one's not better than the other, even though you do get to the point that one is better than the other, but for different reasons. So that's what the whole point of the Squad Up series is about. So why is it called Squad Up? Well, in the military, a squad is a group of soldiers that numbers from 7 to 14 individuals that make up the entire squad. Usually, it's anywhere from 2 to 3 fire teams, and the fire team is usually 4 people, so 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to be using 12. That's usually the number you will see in video games, at least. If you have a squad, in PlanetSide, a squad is has a maximum of 12 units. You can have 3 fire teams in there of 4, and then you can combine 4 squads to make a platoon, or more than that. I forget exactly, but that's kind of the thought process. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing here, but for anime. And it's not going to just be for anime. That's just for the first episode. I'm also going to be doing it for comics that I've been reading, Marvel and DC, cartoon characters, just any sort of entertainment or media that I've consumed in a genre. I can kind of better make a list if I make a squad. So why did I pick this squad of people? So I think it's better to compare and contrast characters based on their strong suits rather than just saying I like one character better than the other, because this way you can kind of take a little bit of the bias out of it. The way it's going to work is that since this is a squad in a military environment, there's going to be a certain scenario or situation at which you're going to have to pick your members or part of your squad. So each person is going to have an individual role to the overall, success of the actual unit in order to achieve their goal of whatever it might be. We'll get a little more details on exactly what that will be for this episode, but just as a preface, this way it's a lot easier, so you don't feel like some of your characters are shafted if they're put further at the end of the list, because they each have their own specific role on the squad, and they're all very integral in making sure the squad meets their goal and succeeds in the end. So that's kind of the thought process behind it. Again, I'll be doing a lot of different genres. It won't just be anime. That's just for this first episode. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into this. So one last thing, there will be 11 characters I'm picking for this list. I am part of the squad itself, so 12 minus 1 is 11. I think that's a good number, it's about a top 10 list plus one honorable mention. So yeah, that's a pretty decent number for the Squad Up series in my opinion. But this first situation, it's going to be an isekai story, that's right. I was on my way home from high school, classes or whatever. It might have been the end of the semester. Mom texted me to go to the store, pick up some small things for dinner, and Truck-kun caught me lacking, bro. I wasn't paying attention to the street sign, and he got me. So here I am in this new mythical world. We're gonna be going with the standard isekai tropes, so it's gonna be magic users, healers, swordsmen, fantastical beasts, that kind of thing, and we're gonna be tasked with defeating the demon lord. Pretty basic situation. Now a couple things that I'm thinking in my thought process with this is that I want to have a good, diverse group of characters in my list. Obviously, I want to have my heavy hitters, in case we come across a flame dragon or just waves and waves of goblins, or some of the demon lord's cronies that are just sending out all these different mobs after us. We want to have our heavy hitters that are just going to be able to take down everything and secure the safety of our weaker characters, me including myself, because even though I'm the main character, I have plot armor, I don't want to like get beat up too bad or like lose an arm, you know. And if this is like a Kama got killed scenario, I definitely don't have plot armor, so we need our heavy hitters to keep us safe. In addition to that, though, I want to keep the storyline interesting. I don't just want to have like a bunch of like Saitamas or a bunch of Luffy's. Obviously, we would probably win, but I will probably lose my mind due to the insanity of them being so annoying all the time. Plus, it wouldn't make like for a good storytelling, in my personal opinion, if all the characters are the same. So we're gonna have our second and third tier fighters that are a little bit weaker, can't really take on the heavy hitters, but there's gonna be second and third tier antagonists too that they're gonna have to face. It might be like a evil politician in like a small city that's oppressing people that we need to go in covertly and take out or something like that. And then also, we're going to have some people that are there for quality of life, in my opinion. I want to be able to, survive, have the throwback to real world, to my old life, just to keep myself sane, because, this journey can definitely be tough. And we're also going to want people who are really smart, because not only is this a fight with hands and fists, but it's also a fight of the mind, We want to be playing checkers when they're playing, we want to be playing chess when they're playing checkers. So for my first pick of my squad, I'm going to have to go with Belle from Black Lagoon. So, Black Lagoon, definitely recommend you see it if you haven't. It's an old TV show. I think it came out like probably early 2000s. I don't think it's in one of the 90s animes. Probably early 2000s, if I had to guess. But it's a fantastic show. It's definitely different from what most people see. Definitely a lot of adult traits in there, but it's still pretty funny here and there. It goes over the city of Roanapur and all the different things that goes through that city that kind of influence the overall global market on like the kind of the darker side. So it goes over like gun trade, drugs, this, that, and the other, how you have the different mobs, evil politicians, institutions around the world that are influencing basically the way the world is going to eventually run for their specific favor. Balalaika specifically is the head of Hotel Moscow. Now, Hotel Moscow is pretty much the group that runs Roanapur. It's rivaled by what's his name? Mr. Chang. He leads the Hong Kong Triad, so pretty much it's either Hotel Moscow or the Triad that pretty much controls Roanapur at a given time, but it usually swings in the favor of Hotel Moscow. Now, Balalaika, she was a special forces operator in the Soviet Union during the Cold War, fought all over the globe, basically for the pride of the Soviet Union. But when they fell, her and her men kind of just wanted to keep up the ideals of what they've been serving their entire lives for, not abandon that. I guess they kind of got addicted to war or whatever. So they basically start Hotel Moscow, start operating on the underworld, and have a lot of influences their hands into a lot of different kind of dinner bowls and dinner plates of the things that go on around the world. The reason I'm picking her for my specific list is because of that leadership factor. Now, I personally think I'm going to be the squad leader, because that's something I personally want to do, but she would definitely be my second in command, just because the way she approaches different things in that TV show, as far as coercing different groups around the world just to get exactly what she wants, and as little of what the other person wants, is very strategic. Not everyone can do that. She doesn't gonna have any like fantastical powers or anything like that. Definitely, she can hold her own as far as like hand-to-hand combat goes. I'm not sure if we'll have availability to like armed weapons or guns, but if we did, then I think she would be good on that front as well, as being ex-special forces. And she is a leader of men. I mean, if you look at how Hotel Moscow operates in that show, they are legit a standing army against people that just have guns, and they almost never lose any. Like, I don't remember if they ever lose any soldiers from what I remember in this TV show. They are like, they go in, they execute their plan, and then they're done. Like one of the scenes, if you go remember, like the vampire twins. I think they're the vampire twins when they're like running crazy over Roanapur. The scene where the kid is trying to come in to kill her, and she's sitting on the fountain in the park, and she pretty much like trapped and pinned them into this place for them to meet up, and then had a sniper on the roof and like shoots out both of his legs and just watches him bleed out. Like that's tough, bro. Like that's a whole nother level of crazy right there. But yeah, she's just going to be the person that's going to be able to be our ambassador, for lack of better terms. If we're going to go sit at the round table, she'll be one of the people there that's going to take the head, talk to the other kings of different countries or the factions that we're going to be going up against. And she's going to be able to state our piece, what we're going to do, what we want, and what we're not going to have. And having someone like that, but also someone who's like a master planner for like war and scrimmages, definitely someone you're gonna want on your team. So Balalaika takes that first spot in the squad that I'll be going on my isekai journey with. All right, so number 2 on the squad. This is gonna be my first heavy hitter, and I think it might surprise some people, but for those who know, it makes sense. Rimbru Tempest from that time I got reincarnated as a slime, I believe is what it's called. Don't know the exact title, but you know, the slime isekai. Rimbru is actually overpowered. I know a lot of people have these conversations like, oh, who will win the fight, Goku or Saitama? Who's the strongest character in all of anime? Well, I really think that people should consider Rimbru when they start talking about strongest characters. Now, obviously, he would probably lose, but I mean, he just wouldn't get his ass handed to him. Like, it would actually be a fairly good fight. He might lose at the end, but he would hold his own 100%. For those who know, who have read the actual source material or like watched the actual anime, this man's a baller. Now, the reason I like Rimbru is for his powers are just honestly crazy. First one I really like is his absorption powers. I think it's called Predator or Gluttony, but pretty much he's able to absorb any like of his enemies. And when he absorbs them, he gains their powers that they have. He's able to mimic their actual appearance, or he could just destroy them outright. So I think this is a very good, probably one of his strongest powers he could have, and it's actually very beneficial. Let's say for the sake of the argument that we run across our first villain, like early on in our story, he might be like one of the cronies of like a bigger person that we might have to take down later on. If Rimbru absorbs him, not only does he gain his powers, but he can also mimic him. So now we have like someone that could go in tactically as a spy, which can get us infiltration, get us more information that we can use in order to expand our power and also make it so that we're able to achieve our goal of defeating the Demon Lord faster. But also looking past that, I mean, his list of powers go a little bit crazy. Poison gas, his thread, imitation, icicle lance, black flame, degenerate. It's honestly crazy. Even like normal shapeshifting, he can like give himself body armor. He can give himself wings so he can fly. This man is legit the definition of overpowered. But definitely that absorption. I think I think it's called Predator. I think that is his strongest ability in my opinion. That would be very beneficial for us. All right, so number 2 on my list is Reinhardt from ReZero. Now, I personally chose not to pick like the most overpowered characters because I could have picked Goku and Saitama, and then it would have been done. But I think that's a little bit like boring because I think that's like an easy like cop-out answer for most people. So I want to make it a little more interesting. But Reinhardt is your stereotypical like super strong swordsman from your isekai animes. He has all the different things going for him: superhuman strength, master of his the sword arts, superhuman speed, agility. Is able to control the different mana or magic around him. I think he might have like some minor healing factors as well that he can use on other people. Also really intelligent and smart, but he's one of the knights I believe in that are really powerful in the ReZero universe. But one of the things that I really like about him is his sword. His sword is really powerful. If you notice how he fights in like the first 4 episodes when he's 3 or 4 episodes when he's going up against the assassin lady, he never unsheaths his sword because the thing with his sword is that it's only supposed to be unsheathed or will physically unsheath whenever a worthy opponent is actually coming at him. So these are like god level world threat type opponents that's worthy for the sword to be unsheathed. It's made from like some like it's like either like made from a god or like one of like the most powerful dragons in the ReZero universe. So it's one of those like god level type weapons. Yeah, so that's like an ultimate trump card right there. Definitely something we could use. He would be able to be utilized in any sort of fight, hold his own, protect people. Very stand-up citizen. Just like, he's like that kind of like a Superman type character as far as just a good guy. So overall, yeah, Reinhardt's a good pick. Not too overpowered, but just enough to get us the win that we need. Alright, so this is probably going to be our strongest character on the list. Manatsu Natsumi from Tropical Rogue Preacher. I don't know what it is about this show, bro, but I love this show so much. She is honestly really strong if we actually talk about like her powers. She has the ability to harness the power of the sun and actually throw it at her enemies. One of like her, I guess, like her ultimate move. But also her motivation. Her motivation power is legit off the charts. She generates motivation power within herself, which is the thing. Like Yanareda in that show basically drains motivation power from the individuals that he goes up against. But in one of the episodes, he actually drains the motivation power from Manatsu, but she's able to basically generate her back herself and gain her powers, which is crazy. So that level of motivation, it's like she pretty much will get stronger. Her strength will scale as she gets more motivated. And it's also infectious as well. So she is also going to be like one of the strongest characters we have, but also she will be able to like motivate the rest of the crew to continue to fight at their maximum abilities. And if you don't believe me, I mean, you just gotta watch like this clip that I'll show you guys, and you'll understand why she's that dude. All right, y'all. So I got the first episode up. After I saw this fight scene, again, episode 1, I knew this girl was goated. So you guys just gotta see this. Absolutely insane. Kira Summer is her actual name, like her superhero name. Alright, pause, bro. Like, look at the determination on her face right here, Chief. Like, she's ready for war. She is not coming to play games. She's like, I'm about to fuck your shit up, nigga. Like, it's a wrap for this dude. Just watch. So you got big ass coconut. Boom, boom, boom. Right on the wall, bro. Running sideways, full speed. I mean, we gotta see this again, bro. Like, hold up. Like these are like giant ass coconuts going at least 90 miles an hour, maybe 100 plus. Exploding on impact. She's jumping side to side. Raw rookie, no training at all. No training whatsoever. On sand. In heels. On the retaining wall. Still running. Eyes on the enemy. Boom, boom. Headbutt. Recovery. Back to full speed. Right at it again. No training whatsoever. And then look at this! Catches a punch mid-swing? Like, that dude won't wind it up. That was full power punch. All motivation right here. Raw rookie. Oh, look at this. Oh my god. Oh, she's about to do it to him. Oh my god. Yes! Bro, like, if you don't think she's goated after that fight, Chief, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so for number 5, I'm actually going to pick someone you probably aren't expecting. This is Master, or Tenshu, from Restaurant to Another World. Now, there's a specific reason I picked him, for 2 reasons. First off, I want to say his power is like the ability to have that door to the other world. That will basically act as like a parallel connection back to like the real world if we really wanted to like go back at any certain point in time. Now, odds are we probably won't, because we never see anyone in the actual show stay in Nicoya and then like stay in the real world. It's just like kind of a game. They go back to where they were after they finished eating. But this would be nice to have, first off, as like just to harken back at like what the real world was like. You know, he probably has Wi-Fi connection in there. I can keep updates on my family, you know, political world stuff that goes on, you know, just general updates, sports stuff back home. You know, that would be really big. Plus, like, the food he makes is fantastic. Throw back to like some just old home style cooking, really nice, you know, modern world food that I just won't have access to in the mystical world. But also from a monetization standpoint, I'm sure that we'll be able to have a lot of different like ingredients and spices and other different dishes that we could definitely sell in the isekai world that could also add as another revenue stream. We actually do see some of this where there's like a little bit of trade going on between some of the countries, like nation leaders and whatnot. Some of them are getting like old food that they get from Master at the restaurant, and then, you know, implementing that into different culinary dishes back home, and then making a whole world off that. This is a great way to, like, just to make money outside the realm of like military forces and whatnot, which is like the specialty of other people. So for one comfort, it keeps us sane, keeps us like grounded. It's a place to go back to, like a home base. You have a good meal, that would be great. But also we can make some money off of that and you know, expand our power that way. All right, the 6th position in the squad actually goes to Belle from Is It Okay to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, or Danmachi as is better known in the community. So I picked him for one specific reason and one specific reason only. His strength is his heroine protagonist traits. Obviously he can fight, right? He's definitely like not overpowered, but he's definitely like punches above his weight class. You know, he's like a level 4 hero. He's like can rival like level 6 heroes or something along the lines of that. He's like one of those blessed characters. This is the best way to describe it in like these type of stories. But pretty much I picked him because he is that hero protagonist. It's just like he's such a likable character, and having like that pretty boy on your team is actually really beneficial. First off, wherever we go, whatever city we're in, whatever village we go to, whatever, you know, pub or bar we go to, there's gonna be someone like walking down the street or is like serving us or whatever that we interact with. Some girl is gonna fall in love with Belle because that's what all the girls do. It's legit in the title. So you know, he has that going for him. For one, it'd be fun to watch because he's like such he's just like so like embarrassed by all that kind of stuff that it'd just be kind of funny to watch him flounder with all these girls like basically throwing themselves at him. But also, like, imagine, like, I don't know, let's say, like, a king's, like daughter or whatever falls in love with Belle. We could marry him off to them, marry him off to a couple people, have build his harem. And that's just a way we can have more, like, connections. Maybe if we, like, oh, like, my daughter, I'm a king and my daughter really likes Belle, who's a team of Caleb squad, you know? Then this is like a great way for us to have an ally. So that's my thought process. For one, it'd just be funny to watch. He's a likable character. Even like just the guys, other male characters in Danmachi just like him because he's just that likable, more so than anyone else on my list. So having that likable character, but also someone that we could, you know, basically, if we had to marry him off to somebody to develop political like pulls and ties, then it's something we could use it for our benefit. All right, so the 7th spot on my squad is going to go to Ark from Skeleton Knight in Another World. Now, he is supposed to be like that comedic relief character. If you watch Skeleton Knight, I mean, it's a pretty funny show, if I do say so myself. Anime, I mean, the manga, the source material is actually kind of decent. I like to compare him to like Ainz from Overlord. I think this is probably the best comparison I can have. I'm not sure he's nearly as overpowered as Ainz is, because I mean that guy is insane. But I mean he's still pretty strong. I mean I think we already have like plenty of like overpowered characters. Rimbru is probably our strongest. Reinhardt's up there too. Manatsu. But Ark, he definitely has his character traits. I mean he's that standard like video game isekai character where he carries over all his stats. He was a try-hard gamer. So he's going to be a try-hard like warrior as well with all those, like, he has healing stats, he has pretty much everything that you would want from a character. Super durable, can control, like, he has magic powers. He can teleport, which is really a big thing. He's just crazy. But yeah, he's going to be our comedic relief, or like I guess not the glue that holds the group together, but kind of like he's going to be the guy that says something witty whenever like we might be struggling or like walking someplace, and it'll put a smile on everyone's face. He's the one that's going to, you know, kind of keep the conversations lighthearted when tough times get tough. So I think it's important to have that kind of character that's going to be lighthearted. It's going to be like kind of the clown, class clown, the group jokester, the prankster on the team, just to keep us lively, keep us like happy. Number 9 is going to go to Senku from Dr. Stone. Senku, I mean, I think that's without saying why we picked him. He is definitely going to be able to make like something out of like the bare essentials. You see how he operates, going from like legit the Stone Ages to developing technology. First off, that's going to help us get a huge advantage over our competition. He's going to be able to bring the modern world tech into this fantastical world. First off, like, huge political power. We could become the Jeff Bezoses of this new world that we get isekaied to. But also it's going to give us a huge advantage tactically over the rest of our opponents. And it's going to make our other characters a lot more useful. Like I said before, Balalaika, she's like a special ops specialist. Might not be that useful if she doesn't have a gun in her hands, but with Senku's brilliant mind, he definitely is going to be able to find a way to make some sort of a firearm that Balalaika can use on a regular basis effectively, which will make her more usable or more useful in actual scrimmages when we go to, you know, on our different quests. But obviously, you know, I think that's without saying, we need someone out there who's going to be able to like create stuff. He'll be able to make medicine. He'll be able to make like power sources, technology, everything that we're going to need to be more comfortable. I personally would like to be comfortable with. So we're not like giving up every single thing to adopt a completely medieval style lifestyle, but we can kind of modernize it. Modernize the medieval style world to kind of be a blend in between. But like I said, huge money there. We can use resources that no one else thinks about using. He's a genius, man. I mean, It goes without saying why we picked him. Now, number 9, I have to go with Levi from Attack on Titan. Now, I chose Levi. I wasn't originally thinking about choosing him for this list, but I think he would really complement Battle like really, really well. You see how Levi acts in Attack on Titan? I mean, he's a stone cold killer, to say the least. But he actually does have like good morals as far as, you know, protection of human life, those who like aren't as like able to protect themselves. But he doesn't take shit from people, bro. He's that dude. Plus, I mean, he's a fighter, man. He's an absolute unit as a fighter. I think he would complement Balalaika really well, just because of his like kind of more stone cold outward appearance that Balalaika would probably be really fond of. If Balalaika came up with some pretty dark schemes that we might have to come up with, that would be kind of rough around the edges. Like, if imagine Balalaika going up to Belle and telling like, "Hey, I need you to like go assassinate this person who has like a wife and kids and whatever, because he's out of line." Belle's probably not going to do that, but Levi sure as hell he'll be up to the task to do what needs to be done, especially if it's for the betterment of all people. So I think, you know, Levi is kind of like an extension of Balalaika. Balalaika kind of has like that thought process of, okay, this is what needs to be done, making all the tough decisions, help me make the tough decisions, and then Levi is kind of like able to act out on them without necessarily hesitating in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I think he would definitely be a huge benefit as far as, you know, when times get tough and like when the rubber needs to meet the road and like it just has to happen. Levi's gonna be there to make it happen. Also, going back to that analogy of like sitting around the round table with like different faction leaders, country leaders, whatever. I mean, I'll be in the center, obviously, because I'm the main character, got that plot armor. But I mean, Balalaika will be at my right and Levi will be on my left, bro. Like that's a good lineup. I mean, that's pretty intimidating lineup right there. As for like backup, and then we might have Ark in the back, just like being menacing. Can't have him say anything because he'll kind of like ruin our credibility. But he's a pretty big dude. Have him maybe he walks in without his helmet on, so oh my god, it's a skeleton soldier, just to give us a little more street cred. But yeah, that's a pretty decent lineup around a round table. So number 10 on my spot, I was really trying to pick up like a huge brainiac. I mean, Senku definitely is like a brainiac, but he's more so like kind of going to be the engineer of the team, like creating stuff for us. I wanted someone who's going to be able to like just like dive really deep into like the logistics and philosophy, the mindset of different people, and help us like understand like the best decisions to make. Balalaika definitely will really help with that, but L takes us to a whole nother level as far as like the psyche behind the human mind, what people are thinking and how to make decisions. I was thinking about picking Light just because if you like really compare the two, Light might just slightly be a little bit smarter than L, but I won't pick him because he's legit a psychopath. And the last thing I need is him plotting to kill all of us. And then he actually does it because he would be capable of pulling that off, especially in a world where there's like plenty of like super powerful antagonists, super powerful like evil people. He could partner up with like the Demon Lord himself, and we won't know it until we actually like all die at his hands, because L would like got by all of us. So I mean, Light got by all of us. So L is a safer choice, just as smart in my opinion. I mean, it's unfortunate he had to die. I wouldn't pick Nier just because I think L is just a better, smarter character than Nier was in the Death Note. But for another reason, L is like a really good at like explaining his thought process on a very basic level to like where anyone can understand. Like look at how he explains it to like the police when he's doing the investigation trying to find Kira. He is has like galaxy brain, but he's able to like bring that down to like a layman's term and explain that for people to understand. So whenever he's like explaining a plan, he doesn't have to like use humongous words and like no one understands what he's talking about. He can explain it on a very like elementary school type level, and where everyone on the team can understand it. And I think that's really beneficial for us to like be able to make the big important decisions, for us to, you know, move forward and grow as a group. All right, so spot 11 on my squad. Tough one. I was really debating through a lot of characters, but it has to go to Lloyd Forger from Spy X Family. I mean, I don't have a dedicated spy on the team. I know I talked about, Rimbru, he could go in and be a spy for us just by using a different, like, someone else's face. But at the end of the day, like, if we're looking at, like, actual, like, spy and espionage, there might not be anyone else on this list. Or really anyone else I know in anime that's as good as Lloyd Forger is. I mean, it's his specialty, man. He's also good at hand-to-hand combat, so we can't look past that. Almost has, you would like seem like superhuman ability based on how he acts in the manga and the source material. But we'll just say he's normal. We know that if he puts his mind to anything, he can become a master at it. So if he wanted to pick up sword fighting, archery, any of the other arts that are like now a thing that he can use in the new world, I'm sure he could do that, study it, and learn it very quickly to be useful. Really good at it. But yeah, it's really that espionage, like information sort of gathering, that he would really be good at. I think just having a spy that is as well versed as he is would definitely be beneficial for the team. But yeah, guys, that's the list. So just to go over, we got Balalaika, Rimru, Reinhardt, Manatsu, Master from Restaurant to Another World, Belle, Cornell, Arc, Senku, Levi, L, and Lloyd Forger. I think that's a pretty decent list. I think we'll be able to hit the ground running as soon as we get there. Be able to make a lot of ties once we defeat the Demon Lord. We'll be good to go. Because that's the one thing about the isekais you don't really talk about. Maybe it's just because whenever the Demon Lord dies, if it ever does die, the story pretty much ends, right? But what happens after that? Like, not only do I want people to just be able to take it down, and this is why I didn't pick, like, let's say 11 characters like as powerful as Saitama or Luffy or Goku, because if I had them, like, yeah, we defeat the Demon Lord instantly, but now there's an instant power vacuum. Like, okay, we defeat him, something worse could come up. How do we control that? So I think my list is pretty balanced. We have our heavy hitters that are going to be able to keep their own, defeat the Demon Lord, be good to go. But we also have people that are going to be able to help us sustain power. We have people that are going to be able to help us sustain monetary power. Beyond like a military standpoint, scaring people straight, that kind of stuff. But also people are going to be able to hold us in like resources, technology, culinary stuff that other people want to, enjoy. We're going to have our pretty boy Belle that's going to be able to be likable. We can bring him off to someone. So, we're a pretty dynamic group, if I do say so myself. But yeah, that's the first episode of Squad Up, guys. The anime isekai list. Hope you guys enjoyed. Now, like I said, guys, I will be doing the Squad Up series for another genre. It's going to be a different scenario, different setting. I'm thinking if I'm going to do anime, it's going to be like my squad up. Who's going to be in my squad for like high school / college life? Because there's a lot of like slice of life that I've watched, and obviously there's like a lot of kids I wanted to add. Like, for example, Yumiko Jabami from Kagurui. She would be like my wife, but she doesn't really have a place on this list, and I couldn't sacrifice one of these spots just to have her, because she would just be there, like, just to be with me, and that's kind of a waste, But I think, for a kind of slice of life type of list, my cronies, my crew, my friend group in college or whatever, it might be young adulthood, she would definitely fit in. So that's probably gonna be my next list, next anime list, excuse me. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.